Welcome to San Francisco, where today you find us armed with this Bentley Continental GTC Speed and a problem. That problem being that I'm not entirely sure what kind of car this thinks it really is. It is a Bentley, so you'd expect it to be some kind of ultimate long-distance touring machine. But on the other hand, it's also an open Bentley, which says to me that this is a car which may well be more about show than go. Then again, Bentley says that this is actually the fastest open four-seater in the world. So what we're going to do is head out over the Golden Gate Bridge and into America in search of deserts, mountains, snow, city, anything really which might be able to shed some light onto the true character of this car. So, is it any good to take skiing? Well, we are now 8,000 feet up a mountain to find out what it is like in snow, and it's really very good. It has four-wheel drive and a nice set of Dunlop winter tyres on it. However, the problem is that the boot is so small we can barely get our own luggage in it, let alone a set of skis. So, in theory, yes. In practice, probably not. So we've been driving for most of the day now. We've left the hubbub of San Francisco and the West Coast many hundreds of miles behind us, and what we're doing is driving into the middle of nowhere. And if you're going to do that on these sorts of roads, the Bentley is absolutely brilliant. The way that they have managed the airflow over the car, the improvement in the ride quality over its predecessor, really shows that despite the fact that it looks quite similar, Bentley has done some serious and proper work here. And in fact, if all you're going to do is this, which is cruise, on a wonderful sunny day like today, it really is quite hard to think of anything at all that you'd rather be in than this. Next question, how does it handle? This is, after all, a Bentley we are talking about. Well, by one standard at least, I think its handling is pretty remarkable. That standard being what you might expect a 2.5-ton convertible to handle like. It's very stable, it steers very nicely, you might even go so far to say as it's quite good fun. By another standard, the ultimate standard of the best handling cars in the world, there is no way it could measure up with that weight and this configuration. By those standards, it's still a good handling car, but it's not the reason you're going to buy one. So now we've come down out of the mountains, back down to sea level, below sea level in fact, to here, Death Valley, which is both the hottest and the lowest place in the entire United States. And we're here really because it's one of the few places where the roads are sufficiently straight and sufficiently quiet to be able to exercise a car like this properly without too much undue interference from the forces of the law. The funny thing with this car is, you read the material and it tells you it has 616 horsepower, but when you put your foot down from rest, despite the fact that it gets to 60 miles an hour apparently in 4.1 seconds, it doesn't actually feel that quick. You feel the momentum that the car needs to gather first before it'll really get going. There's quite a lot of inertia to overcome. But once you get the speeds up to 60, 70 or some more unpublishable speeds and then put your foot down, that is when you feel what 616 horsepower really feels like. So what about here on the Las Vegas Strip? Trifle too obvious perhaps? 3 days ago, back in San Francisco, I have to say it feels like about 3 weeks ago, I thought this car would probably come across as a jack of all trades, not as good looking as some in the class, not as fun to drive as others, and now I guess you could say that's the case. But what this amazing journey of nearly 1,000 miles has taught me is that although it may not lead the class in any individual area, across the whole broad spectrum of abilities and out there in the reasonably real world, it is a fantastically capable car. And one thing I did not expect right now, faced with going back to England, this is a car I'm gonna miss.